Hello and welcome everyone to today's webinar. You're joined by myself, Alex from Inspection Express, and my colleague Shanna, who is in sunny Florida.
Hi.
Shanna. And thank you everyone for joining today's webinar. Before we get started, we're just going to wait for a couple of more people to enter the webinar. We have a number of registrations, so just going to let people filter in. As is the life of property management, I'm sure a couple of people are caught up on the phone or dealing with something urgent. So in the meantime, we'll just run through some housekeeping issues. Today's session is about AI in property management, what's hype, what's real, and what you can actually use today. So we're going to just go through some of the use cases that we've seen in the industry with AI being utilized, some of the common fears and misconceptions about AI, because there is a lot of chatter and noise in the industry about AI and obviously in the world as well. So we're just having this session to discuss it and debunk some of these and give you some real tips and tricks on how you can actually utilize it today within your business. So once again, thanks for joining for everyone who just joined. If you do have any questions, feel free to pop it into the questions tab. There will be time at the end to go through a Q&A. So yeah, great. We'll kick off. So thank you again, Shanna. As I mentioned, AI is everywhere right now. It's hard to distinguish what's hype, and what's being real and utilized. I myself obviously use AI a lot in my personal life and also in work as well. But yeah, so everyone, this is meant to be educational, not an advertorial webinar. So again, any questions that you have, let us know and we'll do our best to handle it. But Shanna, I guess we'll start off with some of the common myths within property management and AI. What are some of the common myths that you've seen speaking with a number of property management agencies and going to all these conferences?
Yeah, I will say the number one that I hear is that the fear that AI will replace jobs, such as in this industry would be property manager's job. I would say that's probably the main one that I hear on my end. Some people think it's too robotic. There's no personalization to it. I would say, yeah, those are like the main two. What about you? What do you hear on your end?
Those are the two main objections that I hear, as well as that AI is too expensive and complex. Obviously, there are some free tools out there, which is great. OpenAI and ChatGPT is the biggest one. But I really want to dive into what you just said, which was that AI will replace jobs. So what we're seeing is a complete shift, I guess, in technology utilization within society as a whole. And that shift has been compared to the shift of the dot-com era, right? And the utilization of internet. This is a very similar transition that we are going through. And time again, I come across this fear that it's going to replace jobs. Now, I think what the big core is that it's just a matter of upskilling as someone who is working in an industry, and it's the people who know how to utilize and expand off of AI who are really going to be able to excel. And it's not there, AI is not there to replace a role. If we make it very property management specific, a property manager's role at the end of the day is a relationship manager. You're managing a relationship, you're managing an investment, a huge investment, arguably some of these biggest investment of the clients' lives, and should be specializing in that. Not necessarily, spending hours typing a condition report or spending hours trying to research, specific tasks or doing monotonous tasks. That's what AI replaces to allow you to do the more complex parts of your role. The biggest utilization, and that's something that comes with Inspection Express, is for example, having this task that takes 2-3 hours for a property manager complete, which is non-dollar productive and which really you should be able to send someone out to take photos of a condition of a property and not have to spend hours of your time as a specialized property manager typing this report. That's where AI comes into it. You know, reading images, generating reports, doing that. I personally use AI a lot of the time when it comes to analyzing documents. So, you know, as part of my role, I do a lot of research within the property management industry, within the tech industry, and I'm often, you know, confronted with pages upon pages of PDF documents. Simply popping that through GPT and being able to prompt it and have those building blocks to analyze it and give me actionable insights is like having an assistant write that for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the same for me as well. So we love ChatGPT. So like you said, instead of it replacing a job, it's just you have to use it to your advantage where it's more of an extra help. And I like that you said it's like having an assistant. That's a good way to look at it.
Definitely. And there are so many products out there that you can utilize. It's often overwhelming how many products there are. I would recommend, and this is probably our first tip of the session for everyone that's here, I would recommend having identifying buckets within your company. You know, your maintenance, your leasing, your inspections, client facing role, etc. And then identifying within those processes where AI can potentially fit in.
Yeah.
With maintenance, it might be triaging, AI being able to triage with tenants and run through troubleshooting issues before escalating the issue to a property manager and a tradesperson. Right? So looking at those buckets in your business, or your, I guess, those arms of the business and the roles associated with it, and seeing where AI can fit in.
Yeah.
That's what, you know, I've seen property management companies do in my time. That's what, you know, in my time as a property manager in Australia, what we did. You know, the very early use cases of AI within my career was helping it write listing descriptions for me.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's the way that ChatGPT you know, does its all little wording. It has a better vocabulary than I could ever. Let's just say that.
That's just put it out there, and it just keeps evolving as well, which is nice. Some people even said ChatGPT is their best friend now because the AI has actually learned them and how they speak, how they talk, and you're actually able to use it as an extra help. So instead of having, you know, to like you said, you may want to write something super professional, and AI, well, ChatGPT in this case is able to just actually talk how you would talk, but in a more professional way, which is nice.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I will never use AI for is responding to my emails.
Oh yeah, no, definitely not.
That's another thing. I think that's a pretty common myth, or not a myth, but I guess something that I see within the space is that a lot of people think, oh great, I can utilize AI to respond to my emails, and Gmail has the function where it can suggest a response.
Yeah.
The pitfall of AI that I say to people is that don't let it remove that personalization aspect in your communication.
Yep.
That
Right.
AI can be personalized to an extent, right? And it can tailor your communications and adapt to your writing style. But what it cannot emulate is human empathy.
Yeah.
Human empathy as well is one of, I would say, arguably one of the core things needed within property management. You're dealing with people's housing, people's biggest investment. You need that certain level of empathy. AI is not there to replace that. AI can't replace that. It is a robot. It is technology. What it can do is take monotonous tasks and triage them for you.
Right.
And so that's another thing that I really recommend to everyone is, you know, you can play around with email responses, for example, like if you need it to draft, or, you know, if you have like, I guess, the gist of what you need to say, but you just need it to sound a little bit more professional, or whatever it may be. AI is great for, I guess, those little tweaks, but when you're doing your communication, I think it's always best to steer clear of AI a little bit with that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. You want to keep that relationship as well. Like you said, that human relationship with your clients, with the owners, whatever the case may be. So I'm with you on that one.
Yeah. Now, the other thing that I want to just touch upon is that it's that myth that AI is a bit is expensive and complex to use. Now, obviously, we have free tools out there in the world, which is great, but proper industry specific tools do cost money, right? Like Inspection Express costs money. You know, maintenance softwares that can triage these tasks for you, that costs money. Human, like AI chatbots to answer your phones, that costs money. Like the ways that you can triage all of these inquiries, that does cost money. But when you look at it in terms of the time savings, like for example, I pay for ChatGPT Pro because it saves me hours of time a day being able to analyze all of this data that I'm having to read and consume, or do all of these things that I need to do within my role. So for me, that $24 a month that I pay, which works out to be less than $1 a day, saves me, 1 to 2 hours a day. I would say on average, when I multiply that by my hourly rate, I'm making money. Now,
Yeah.
some people might say that's girl math and all that stuff. That's but I'm a very numbers driven person. So what I urge everyone in this webinar to do as well is look at your business, look at how much time each of these things are taking, your maintenance, your leasing, your inspections, you're dealing with tenant inquiries, for example, triaging requests. How much are you paying that person within your business to do these tasks? How much is the AI going to cost? And then how much is it going to save you in time and therefore money? Again, classic example that I use with our clients, Shanna, is that with Inspection Express, like I look at, it's taking you 3 hours to do an inspection report. Our software reduces that down to 30 minutes for, a 4-bedroom house. I literally did a 5-bedroom move-in inspection with a client in Woodland Hills. It took us 35 minutes. That would typically take them 4 hours.
Crazy.
So we saved more than 3 hours in California. When you look at the average hourly rate of a property manager, let's just say it's $25 an hour. I've just saved $75 for one inspection. Now they're doing 10 inspections a month.
Crazy. And then like you said, I mean, as you start to get, used to a software, and it can be anything other than Inspection Express as well, is you get the gist of it and you go even faster. So when you're looking at how much time you're saving, like you're saying, it makes a big difference, I will say. It definitely makes a big difference.
Definitely.
But wow, 5 minutes versus 4 hours is, wow, that's a lot. Imagine what you can do in those other 3 hours and a half.
Exactly. Imagine maintenance as well, right? Like let's not just stick with inspections, but imagine maintenance. The stats are that 50 to 60% of a property manager's day to day is consumed by maintenance requests and dealing with maintenance requests.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that.
It's insane. And I can attest to that.
Yeah.
Majority of my day was spent trying to troubleshoot maintenance, trying to gather tradespeople, to go out to a property, to do quotations, to arrange access with tenants, to get further information from tenants, to get photos and videos from tenants, because there was no system in place that collated all of that data for me initially and then gave me a report to say, tenant has just submitted maintenance request of XYZ. Here are the photos. Here is the recommended tradesperson for it. This is the estimated cost for it. Like I had to do all of that manual labor. And then by the time I pick up the phone to speak to the landlord, 2 hours have passed or 3 hours have passed before, I've even been able to get any of this information for the landlord that they need.
Yeah.
Right. So highly recommend. I would say the two biggest time suckers that I've seen within property management is maintenance and inspections. Maintenance, inspections, and leasing. Those are the 3 buckets I recommend everyone in today's webinar go into their business, see how much time they're spending in each of those different sectors, and seeing how AI can solve that solution. You know, just off to give some, I guess, free PR to some tech out there. You know, for your maintenance, I know that I've heard of, you know, Property Meld, Latchel, those are systems out there that utilize AI, which is great. You know, in Australia, there's Tarpy, which does amazing with triaging of maintenance. You know, your chatbots, there's a lot out there. I know at the latest NAPM National Broker Owner, I had a look at Vendoroo and I tested it out, and they had like the chatbot that was literally sounded like a human that triaged my requests before I even got to a property manager. I see that all the time now, businesses utilizing the automated, like, I guess, messaging to get through to a specific department, which is a salesperson's nightmare, but a property manager's dream. So those are sort of things. Obviously, Inspection Express is a great one. You pop the camera in the middle of the room, AI reads the 360 image that you capture and does the rest of the report for you, which you then review and finalize. So, you know, those are some things that everyone in this webinar can go out and look into today in terms of that actionable insight. So that would be the biggest thing is don't operate on that mindset that it's too expensive, because it's too expensive not to utilize these sorts of technologies within your business in this day and age, because there are people out there utilizing it and being able to focus on more dollar productive tasks or more specialized tasks within their business without having to hire additional staff. You know, in the past, if you as a business owner wanted to focus on more specialized tasks and growing your business, you would have to hire someone, right? Yeah. You would hire an additional employee to take some of that workload, but then that employee wouldn't be specialized. So you're paying someone to just do monotonous tasks and not a specialized role.
Right.
I would rather burn money than do that. Yeah. Right? You want to add people into your business that are going to assist you with growing it, and the monotonous tasks be dealt with technology. Because again, with staff, if you're hiring people that aren't specialized, you have overheads and liabilities within your business. If you use AI software, that's, yes, an overhead with a subscription cost, but if you want to fire it, you cancel the subscription. Yeah. Right? You don't have to do certain things like give it warnings or do any of that stuff. There's no HR with the AI. So yeah, I definitely say I see a lot of businesses embracing it, which is great. There's a lot of chatter out there about it, and it's like, where do you start? Yeah. Again, I reaffirm, you start by looking at those buckets or arms within your business that are taking up the most time for your employees, and you look at how AI can solve that. Yeah. It's as easy as Googling, AI software for inspections, AI software for maintenance, or looking at what your current tech stack is and seeing if they offer AI, or if they have AI in development, for example.
Yeah, because all this is catching on. It's just industry is going.
There is billions of dollars being poured into AI development. It is not going anywhere. In fact, it's here to stay, like the internet is.
Yeah.
It's the latest, and it's training and learning how to utilize it in its best ability that's going to allow you to expand and to cut through the noise.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a couple of, I guess, real world case studies, utilizations of it, and some of those myths as well, and some key takeaways there. Another use another real world case study that I want to share with everyone that I was sharing with Shanna beforehand is that, you know, last night I was cooking dinner and my garbage disposal clogged up and my sink started bubbling up. It's linked to my washing machine. There's water in my washing machine. It's basically Armageddon. I don't cook often, mind you. So when I do, something goes wrong with my kitchen.
I wonder why.
Straight away I was on the case. And this is another thing. I can send a photo of it and say what's wrong. It's not going to give me anything. What you have to do is, I learned this from a really amazing lady in Australia, Samantha McLean from AI Agents. AI, you have to shape it like building blocks. If you need it to do something for you, you need to give it context, you need to tell it how to operate, and you need to tell it what you need out of it. So I literally wrote, pretend you are a maintenance person, plumber, etc. I have this XYZ issue in my sink. I think it's linked to my garbage disposal. The water is bubbling up. The piping looks like this. This is the brand of the garbage disposal, the incinerator. And here's a photo of the serial number. Help me and tell me what's wrong. It gave me, you know, troubleshooting. It might be clogged, do the plunging. So I bought the little cup plunger. Again, if I hadn't have had AI, I probably would have bought a toilet plunger, not a cup plunger. I never knew there was a difference, right? So I hopped onto DoorDash, got that cup plunger, did that, didn't work. Sent a photo of the piping to ChatGPT. It identified the U-bend for me. It identified the screws. It told me, you know, how I unscrew the U-pipe, XYZ. I just moved here. I don't have the tools. So this morning I got a handyman to put some curtains up behind me. I got him to have a look at it and drain the U-pipe for me. He did that. It's still overflowing or bubbling up. So now I've within, you know, a couple, obviously there was an overnight period, but now I've been able to go to the property owner and the property manager and say, I've troubleshooted this issue. I now need a plumber. Rather than just calling up the phone to the owner at 10 o'clock at night saying, send a plumber out urgently. I need this call out fee X, Y, and Z. You know,
Right.
so I did that because I'm a tenant that utilizes AI, and I'm a tenant that used to be a property manager. So I know how frustrating that those requests can be if they're not troubleshooted correctly. Tenants don't know that. Your everyday tenant doesn't know that. So if you have a system in place to be able to triage that request and assist them, that's been done for you. Biggest takeaways from that real world case study is if I as a tenant had a portal that I could log into and assist me with that maintenance, fantastic. So definitely utilizing those features. Now, did you have any questions, anyone, or Shanna, did you have any like comments on that?
No, I think you're literally right on with the perfect example as well.
Yeah. And I guess the next thing would be, I guess, the integration strategy that I'd love to cover with everyone, which is, you know, again, starting to use it today. So identifying your bottlenecks, start small and identify one first and start that process. The training of your teams is key and imperative. AI augments, it does not replace. That's the biggest thing.
That's a problem.
Keeping humans for sensitive areas, not trying to replace your entire business with AI, and then being able to measure that ROI. So one of the key things we do at Inspection Express is that we measure the ROI for clients when they onboard. We ask them and we look at, in our initial discussions, how long their inspections take. We look at within the first 1 to 2 months how long their inspections are taking. We identify and tell the business owner the ROI that they've seen thus far in just their time savings, not even their dispute resolutions. That's a whole nother ballpark, right? And then we look at, okay, great, the ROI is trending in the right direction for you in terms of your investment, but how do we make it better for you as well? So that's the biggest thing is that constant assessment of that ROI and that training of your team as well. Now, some of the pitfalls that we've seen and these are the things that I urge people to be wary of, is over trusting AI. So AI is still a computer. It
Right.
is at best 85-90% accuracy rate with AI is the industry average. Always verify the information it is spitting out.
Yeah.
Always verify that. Even with inspections, verify it. Read through the information that's provided. Analyze the information that's provided. It's there to give you basically the Cliff Notes version of it. I don't know if is Cliff Notes a thing here?
I think so. I know about it, but I'm also international, so.
Notes for anyone joining and who doesn't know it is a fantastic thing that I utilized in my schooling, which was, instead of reading a whole novel, well,
You
some
go.
of them, I got the Cliff Notes version of it. It gave me like the key takeaways.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they use that here as well.
The other thing that I've seen is being very careful with bias and utilizing tools in like screening tenant tools, because there are a lot of, like, I guess, discrimination things in place, like privacy discrimination, typical laws that you just don't want to rely on AI to assist you with. I'm familiar, I won't name names, but there was a lawsuit, I think recently. There was a $2.3 million settlement because AI discriminated in tenant screening and gave bias.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Be super careful with that and make sure that, you know, AI is being utilized in accordance to regulations. There is very little regulations currently. I think Jersey City has just banned AI setting tools, for example, or like rent setting tools. So you can't get AI to set the rent, for example, which is totally fair. Again, this is a property manager's specialty. You're
Right.
utilizing AI for the monotonous tasks, not the key tasks. Be incredibly, incredibly careful of that. And again, be careful with the data and the what you're putting in. AI is only as good as the data that you give it.
Yeah.
If you're giving it garbage data, it's going to give you garbage results. You know, in any case or situation. Case in point, ChatGPT. I didn't just send a photo of the garbage disposal and say what's wrong. I gave it its steps.
To the T, literally.
Exactly. So, you know, utilizing it, making sure that you utilize it in that way.
Yeah.
So, you know, again, I think with some key insights and 3 quick wins that people can take away from today's session is that you can utilize AI in some of these buckets of your business. The way I would suggest in terms of the 3 key ways is your inspections process, because again, especially in California and other states, the inspections and security deposit process is starting to be heavily scrutinized, and legislation is changing. So that's a really key part, I guess, or section of your business you can get ahead of immediately.
Yeah.
The other thing is your predictive maintenance, because it's the biggest time sucker. Your maintenance being able to or triage your maintenance requests, but also catch issues early and avoid some emergencies. And then, you know, automating some I guess, triaging of leasing or tenant responses, being able to identify, you know, the tenant is actually asking for the maintenance person. What in particular are they asking for? Having that chatbot go through those steps. Again, a salesperson's worst nightmare, property manager's dream, doing that sort of thing. Do you have any like insights for us, Shanna, that I guess I've missed, or any 3 quick wins?
I'm thinking I have to agree with the 3 big ones. And I'll give an example too, like, for example, where I live here, in an apartment building. I'm not sure, with all of the laws, kind of like you said, there's so many laws and legislations that are changing. I'm not sure exactly when I have to say if I want to renew my lease or if I want to terminate it. So if I have a property manager that's utilizing, for example, AI for leasing, that AI might be able to scan for, my renewal and then automatically send me an email, or they can send me an email on their own and they're notified on their end. But I think it can help a lot of like disputes at the end of a tenancy, and also make it easier for the tenant as well, not just the property manager.
Yeah.
So, well,
A lot of property managers' inboxes are clogged up with mundane requests like this of,
yeah,
a copy of my lease, or when is my lease expiring? What's the renewal process? Give me a copy of this, XYZ. Like if you had someone who can just do that for you, i.e. an AI bot, you've again saved hours of your day.
hours of your day, and then it's nicer on the tenant side as well because they're getting quicker responses as well. So versus, like you said, maybe having to wait a few days to get an answer, or whatever the case may be. So I think it's beneficial on both ends, which is nice.
Absolutely. And that does integrate seamlessly with current workflows. Like you can seamlessly integrate that in with your communication workflows, with your inspection workflows, with your maintenance workflows. So definitely look at that. The other thing would be, just before we wrap up, is some of the key questions to ask before you choose an AI solution. Again, it relates to that benefit to you.
Yeah.
Ask, how much time is this going to save me? How easy is the implementation? What's the training and onboarding like? What's the accuracy rate? What will be my ROI? What's the cost? What's the benefit? Those are some of the key questions straight off the bat I would ask.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree
So
with that.
definitely focusing on, what that onboarding training solution looks like and what that ROI looks like.
Yeah, what makes sense for you? Every business is different. You don't want to just get AI to get AI. You have to, like you said, see what's needed for your personal needs, your business, and then calculate that ROI and see what makes sense.
Yeah.
There are so many AI softwares, so you don't want to use everything also. You want to choose wisely. So, yeah.
Definitely. Well, yeah, look, that takes us to, I guess, summarizing the 3 AI tips that can change the way you work. We'll get into that. Now's the time for any questions as well, and then we'll finish up with those tips and go from there. So if you do have any questions, I can't see any on my end.
I don't see any on my end yet.
Okay. No, not yet. Oh, here we go. Here's one. How long has, I guess this is for us personally, how long has AI been utilized by Inspection Express, and what's the model, and I guess with the regulations? So AI with Inspection Express has been around for more than a year. So it's been utilized for property managers across Australia, New Zealand, and the US. The 360 component has been out for a number of years, but it's been tried and tested, and it's very much, again, the property manager reviews the AI before it gets sent out. So it's utilized for your move-in inspections, and it also is utilized for your move-out inspections as well. So your move-out inspections, it will identify the issues for you immediately. So
Favorite component.
appreciate that question, Dale. Thank you. That's the only question we have. So again, just to summarize, the three AI tips that can change the way you work immediately, and that's the key takeaway of this session, is going into your business, looking at what takes up the most time, finding a solution that can then save you time. So if it's maintenance, looking into maintenance like Property Meld, Lateral, seeing if they have AI triaging available. If it's inspections, looking at software like Inspection Express and seeing how we can save you time as well with your inspections process.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. The second thing is then allowing you to calculate how much time it's going to allow to save you, and then what that ROI is. And then the third thing is just, I guess, a little bit of a more fun one is hop on to ChatGPT. try the building block solution or scenario where you actually build up. I need you to think like a property manager that's located in Nebraska. This is the issue that I'm facing, or the maintenance issue. Try ChatGPT with your maintenance. Find something that's broken in your house or your office and give it those building blocks and see what it spits out in terms of troubleshooting. See the power of AI for you. Get a document that you've been, that's been sitting in your inbox that's you've been meaning to read forever, and put it through ChatGPT and let it give you an analysis.
Yeah.
Even utilizing ChatGPT to put in your inspection times, how long it's taking you, how long Inspection Express will save you, what that means for your business in terms of dollar value, of salaries, of dollar productive activities. Using that as your analyst assistant and monotonous assistant. That's the key thing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I encourage everyone on this webinar today to look into that and try out those things. Remember, AI is not here to replace property managers. It's about giving you back time and to focus on the things that you need to focus on. Now, if you would like to have a copy of that or calculate that ROI checklist specifically for your inspections as well, feel free to reach out to us at Inspection Express. So if you search up Inspection Express USA on Google, you'll find our website where you can submit an inquiry. If not, you can email either Shanna or myself as well. We'll send out some details with that as from after this webinar. But if you want to look at what that ROI means for you with inspections, let us know. And if you want any more tips and tricks, or if anyone is interested in some of these videos that AI-powered agents Samantha McLean has been releasing, let me know and I can flick them across to you, because they're really interesting and insightful. So yeah, thank you everyone for your time. And if you
I want to say thanks to you. That was very insightful, and I'm sure that everyone got to take something home today. Very instructive. So thank you, Alex. And thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much. And we'll see you at one of the NAPM conventions that will be out in the next couple of months if you are joining. And if you are going to be there, feel free to come up to us and say hello.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.